Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we are going to talk about a shocking development from the military world. Russia's 41st Army has reportedly collapsed from within, with reports suggesting that as many as 40,000 soldiers have refused to fight and fled en masse. This is an extraordinary situation that raises questions about leadership, morale, and the operational strength of one of the country's key military units. Over the next few minutes, we will break down the state of the Army, its internal conditions, performance, safety concerns, unique characteristics, and the broader implications of this collapse. The exterior of the 41st Army, historically, was a picture of strength and discipline. Known for its robust formations and significant firepower, it was deployed as a frontline force with a reputation for reliability in strategic operations. Its armored vehicles, artillery units, and troop divisions were considered well-equipped and highly capable. On the surface, everything seemed intact, and the Army projected the appearance of a highly organized and operationally ready force. However, beneath this exterior, cracks were forming. Reports indicate that the chain of command has become unreliable, with many officers unable to enforce discipline or maintain unit cohesion. This has created a situation where soldiers no longer feel bound by loyalty or obligation, leading to mass desertions. Despite the impressive displays of equipment and military hardware, the outward strength was overshadowed by the internal collapse that has now become impossible to ignore. Inside the Army, conditions appear to have been extremely challenging. Soldiers reportedly faced logistical issues, insufficient supplies, and a lack of proper support. The barracks and living areas, rather than being functional and morale-boosting, seem to have contributed to frustration and disillusionment. Reports from those who fled indicate long periods of inactivity combined with harsh conditions, which left many soldiers feeling undervalued and unprepared. Morale inside the 41st Army reportedly deteriorated over time, fueled by ineffective leadership and inadequate communication between the ranks. The interior conditions, though less visible from the outside, played a critical role in the mass refusal to fight. These internal struggles created an environment where soldiers prioritized their personal safety over the expectations of the command structure. In terms of performance, the collapse of the 41st Army has been dramatic. Units that were once considered disciplined and effective were unable to execute coordinated maneuvers. The lack of cohesion between different divisions led to operational paralysis, and even basic missions were abandoned or poorly executed. This breakdown in performance is not just about soldiers refusing orders. It is a reflection of systemic issues that have left the Army incapable of functioning as a unified force. The inability to coordinate attacks, maintain defensive positions, or respond effectively to threats highlights the severe impact of internal instability. The collapse was not sudden. It appears to have been the culmination of months, if not years, of internal decay, which finally reached a tipping point where the Army could no longer sustain itself. Safety features, or the lack thereof, are another area of concern. The Army's internal command and defensive protocols failed to prevent the mass exodus. Proper leadership and effective security measures are supposed to protect both personnel and strategic assets, but in this case, the systems in place were insufficient to maintain control. Soldiers fleeing en masse suggest that not only were their lives at risk in operational terms, but also that trust in leadership had broken down completely. Without functional safety measures, morale plummets, and the risk of further internal collapse increases. The failure of internal protective structures highlights a deeper systemic issue that goes beyond just equipment and training, pointing to a need for structural reform if the Army is to recover. Despite this collapse, there are still unique characteristics of the 41st Army that are worth noting. The Army is not without value. It retains highly trained specialists, advanced equipment, and strategic knowledge that could potentially be redeployed if strong leadership is restored. This includes armored units, artillery, and intelligence capabilities that, while currently underutilized due to internal disorganization, represent significant potential. Analysts suggest that the remnants of the 41st Army could be rebuilt into a functional force, but it would require more than just reassigning troops. Restoring morale, enforcing discipline, and repairing the command structure would be essential for turning these assets back into operational strength. Even in collapse, the Army's strategic value is far from zero, emphasizing that leadership and internal cohesion are often more critical than sheer numbers or firepower. The cost of this collapse is immense. Losing 40,000 soldiers in a single event represents a staggering loss of both human and material resources. The investments in training, equipment, and operational preparation are effectively wasted when the Army cannot function as intended. Beyond the immediate losses, the strategic impact of having a major Army unit rendered ineffective is significant. It leaves gaps in defense, reduces the capacity for coordinated operations, and undermines the perception of military strength. The financial and operational costs are compounded by the damage to morale across other units and the wider military community. This collapse serves as a reminder that the price of failing to maintain internal cohesion and soldier welfare can be catastrophic, both in human and strategic terms. In conclusion, the collapse of Russia's 41st Army is a stark demonstration of how internal factors can undermine even the most heavily armed and seemingly prepared military forces. While the Army had a strong exterior, capable equipment, and strategic potential, the lack of effective leadership, poor internal conditions, and systemic failures led to a breakdown that no amount of external power could prevent. The mass refusal of 40,000 soldiers to fight highlights that morale and trust are just as important as training and weaponry. The safety systems that were supposed to protect both personnel and strategic assets failed, further emphasizing the critical role of leadership and organization. Despite the collapse, there remains potential in the remaining assets and personnel, suggesting that with the right reforms, the 41st Army could theoretically be rebuilt. However, the lessons of this event are clear: no amount of firepower or advanced equipment can compensate for weak internal cohesion, poor leadership, and neglected soldier welfare. This incident underscores the importance of focusing not just on external strength, but on internal resilience, morale, and effective command. If you found this analysis insightful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more updates from the world of military developments. The collapse of the 41st Army serves as a cautionary tale for military organizations everywhere and provides a deep insight into the human and organizational aspects that are critical to operational success. By studying these events, we can better understand the delicate balance between leadership, morale, and performance in maintaining a functional and effective military force. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more updates and in-depth analyses from the front lines.